Now, the country's Labour Minister has identified a peaceful environment in labour relations and collective bargaining as their first order of business in the coming year. Minister Mildred Oliphant now joins us live from our Cape Town studios to discuss how she plans to achieve it. Minister, thanks for your time. We've been looking for you for a very long time because this story around mining labour unrest, as well as the general sense that there is instability within South Africa's labour environment, has been with us for some time. Minister, what measures are you taking so South Africa's labour environment is normal, in the sense where there is a dispute? People don't necessarily always say the first thing that you do is to say, we are going on strike.
Firstly, let me say we've said our priority is going to be labour relations in Daba, where we are going to be meeting with the organized business, organized labour, so that we can be able to deal with the challenges that we're faced with. And probably our thinking is that there is a possibility that some of the industries, they don't understand the labour relations of our country, including the workers as well. So we want to take everybody on board so that we can hear their views and where we can possibly deal with these challenges that are there in the mining sector, in particular in Rustenburg. And also we are having some processes where we are discussing the issue of the central collective bargaining, because we believe that in the mining sector you rather concentrate on the central collective bargaining. Because one, if you look at the incident that happened last year, workers were demanded from one mine, and immediately when they have achieved what they have demanded for, and then they will also encourage the others in another mine to demand the same wages. So we thought that if we have a central collective bargaining, these differences will not happen. But at the same time, that is why we want to say everybody must come on board so that everybody can really be clear about the importance of respecting the laws, particularly when it comes to the labour relations and basic conditions of employment.
Minister, so let's put it on record. When is this gathering and where will it be?
We're preparing to have it towards the end of June here in South Africa. We're still looking for the venue. CCMA and NEDLEC are processing all those detailed issues. Immediately when we're done with it, then the relevant stakeholders will be informed.
Minister, this is Nozipo speaking here with Godfrey this evening. And my question goes back to a statement that you made in your speech yesterday, where you said that the unions are a mirror reflection of the poor organization that they have, and this is why we're seeing these problems in the industry. Can you unpack that statement a little bit and what you feel needs to be done to get the unions to currently and correctly reflect the issues that the labor is facing right now?
What is happening in the industrial factors is that one, when you look at in particular Rustenburg, we find that the people who were making demands were called committees of workers. And we were not allowed to use those structures because there are unions that are recognized by the company. If somebody form a union, he has to follow the procedures, and then when that person is recognized in terms of the membership and the threshold of that membership, that's when that person should be recognized. But the challenge was that some of the mining companies, in particular Lonmin, they have allowed the negotiations with the individual workers, and when they were failing to implement what they have agreed with that group of workers, then they had a challenge. That is why the workers decided to go on strike, because they were saying the management has promised them to give them something, but all of a sudden they are saying they can't do that. It's just because there was already an agreement on the table. That is why we are saying we have to take everybody on board so that in future nobody would say, I was not aware about the implication of unprotected strikes, and also the implication of that if you are not following the labor laws of the country, there can be certain consequences. So that is why we have said let us start by engaging everybody so that everybody should be on board on what is expected to that particular industry or employees.
Minister, so one of the key functions that the Indaba is going to try and achieve is to bring together the fractured voices that we're seeing across industry. Is this likely to happen? Do you think this is going to be an easy journey?
I think if all of us, we make that commitment, it will be an easier journey. Because as we're speaking, what is happening, we are having discussions with the various companies, including the unions, in particular AMCU and NUM. What the CCMA also is trying to do is to facilitate, and also they are busy doing the compilation of the membership in terms of verification, whether AMCU or NUM have the required membership to be recognized by the company. And after CCMA has finalized that, then we will know which is the majority union in that particular company. But at the same time, I must say, during our discussions with the Minister for Mineral Resources and the mining chambers, where most of the mining companies were present, they have agreed that the best way to deal with these particular issues is to have a central bargaining forum where they can start preparing the situation, and we have even formed a small task team from my department and also from the mineral resources to say, let them look on how we have to start the issue of the central collective bargaining.
Yeah.
And also there is a rep as well from the mining chamber.
Yeah, Minister, I think your move is an important one. Some people would argue that it is slightly late, but nevertheless, so we're seeing you taking the leadership and discussing with unions as well as employers. What about the framework within which the unions and the employers operate? Some people would suggest that surely the unions as well as the employers all know the labor law and understand its requirements, but are not living up to it. Is there not an opportunity here to look at the labor law and see ways in which it's perhaps enabling the sort of anarchy that we have seen and take measures to make sure that doesn't happen?
Even pre-1994, I must say there were those companies who were supporting individual workers, who were causing commotion, and that is why we are saying let us all come together before we take certain measures against those companies who don't really comply with the laws of the country. As we speak, as I've said, we have tabled amendments in Parliament. Those amendments will give us a tool of forcing the companies to respect the laws of this country.
Minister Nozipho, again, just to zoom back in on the department's initiatives around employment creation. In your speech, you spoke very positively about the efforts underway for reintegrating unemployed persons. I want to just focus on the jobs fair that you spoke of and the positive numbers that you spoke of there. And the question is, these opportunities, are they actually translating to real jobs on the ground?
Yes, these opportunities are really translating into permanent jobs. Yes, there are those also that are temporary, but at the same time, we have encouraged the business sector to register their vacancies with us, including the discussion with the Department of Public Service and Administration to say, in particular, the lowest level, rather than to advertise those posts, it is possible that they can tap from the system. But at the same time, we have a memorandum of understanding with SAMSA and also with the Department of Higher Education, particularly when it comes to the training of cadets, that they are going to tap from our system, and also that the Department of Higher Education will open a space to train the cadets in FET colleges. But at the same time, we have had discussions with some companies that are part of the maritime industry of which they have agreed that they are going to tap from our system immediately when they reflect how many people do they want, irrespective of whether those people have qualifications. If they don't have qualifications, they are going to train them on the same skills or even at any other skills that they require. So that is the agreement that we're having at the present moment.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we have taken an initiative as the department, in particularly by allocating more funds from the Unemployment Insurance Fund to cater for those people who have been retrenched so that we can retrain them and re-enter the labor market, but also those who want to establish their small businesses. We can also assist them in terms of training and including the funding so that they can start their businesses. So we'll be also working with the trade and industry, rural development, and public works, in particular when it comes to the expanded public works program. So those are the arrangements that we have discussed with various departments.
Minister,
and
last
also
quick
with
question.
the Department for Mineral Resources, we have said rather than to wait for the companies to finish when they are mining, we rather not open that space, but we need to rehabilitate the mining though where they have passed, so that at the end of the day we can say we have managed to create jobs, but also we want to encourage young people to enter in the labor, in the sector of farming, because that's where as well we believe that a lot of jobs can be created.
Minister, thanks for your time. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but I've got a quick question that I wanted to ask you. When do you envision South Africa having a normal, free labor environment where discussion does not always turn out into conflict?
Immediately after June, we believe that we'll be able to come back to the normal situation. And I must say, in the mining sector, we have an agreement that deals with peace, of where the unions have signed it, and we believe that everybody will make a commitment on those particular agreements.